Welcome back, my name is LastKnownMeal, and today I'm going to talk about ELEX 2 and Gothic 5. What comes first? Because in my recent videos, the main discussion I've been seeing in the comments is about a new Gothic game. There is always someone saying oh gosh, I would definitely love a new Gothic game, and I completely agree with that. But in this video I'm going to talk about both games. I'm going to talk about Gothic 5 and ELEX 2, the possibility of Gothic 5 ever happening, and also compare those two games and see what game could come first. Because at the end of ELEX 1, Piranha Bytes definitely unfolded events that will lead to ELEX 2, and if you've been seeing previous series made by Piranha Bytes, they usually do a trilogy. There is a Gothic trilogy, there is Risen trilogy, so there is no reason why we couldn't have an ELEX trilogy in the future. So first things first, let's talk about the possibility of Gothic 5 ever happening. In my previous Gothic 5 videos, I talked about some gameplay and story elements that could be involved in the next Gothic game. I believe that the main problem that people have right now with the story of Gothic 5 is, well, Gothic 4, which is just... oh, god damn it, it's a spin-off. It's not even made by Piranha Bytes, and it definitely kinda, unfolded some events after Gothic 3, and people are assuming what can we have next? I'm not an expert when it comes to the future of Gothic, so I have a bunch of ideas when it comes to Gothic 5. I think the video would be too long if I talked about all of them, but the main thing they can definitely do is just forget that Gothic 4 ever happened, and everything, concerning the story in Gothic 4 is just a spin-off, so there is no reason to pay attention to the things that unfolded in the Gothic 4. So after Gothic 3, they can still go and continue the story. I mean, I would definitely play as a nameless hero. I would accept, to play with a different character, but in my opinion, Gothic wouldn't be the same without the nameless hero, because all of us that played the last three games, the last three Gothic games, definitely have some sort of a connection with the character, because he's been through a lot, and through his adventures in Gothic 1, 2, and 3, we've been through them, we experienced everything, so it kind of makes sense that we continue Gothic 5 with the nameless hero. But then again comes the problem with the name of the next Gothic game. If we forget about Gothic 4, then why are we naming Gothic 5 5? That is the problem. And also, if you've been playing ELEX, you are, familiar with some technical issues that the game has with combat and animations and blah blah blah. And even though it's a really good RPG experience, the AI and the animation and technical difficulties of this game definitely ruined the immersion for some people. It's good if you can get used to it, but then comes a next Gothic game. What if a next Gothic game has those problems? Fans are not going to be as forgiving with a next Gothic game as they were with ELEX. Because for a lot of us that played Gothic 1 and 2, especially Gothic 1 and 2, Gothic 3 was good. It had, technical difficulties, of course. It was released before it should have been released, but as I'm saying, we're not going to be as forgiving with a next Gothic game and all of the technical problems it could have as we were with ELEX. Again, it's an amazing thing that they released ELEX. It's still a good game. I love it. I played it, but I don't think people are going to be as forgiving towards it. Now, if they just keep the RPG aspects of ELEX and, previous Gothic games, I don't doubt it's going to be an amazing game. But I would also love all the technical stuff like animations, combat, AI, to be up to code, to be up to standard with a next Gothic game. And I believe Piranha Bytes know this. So that is why venturing in a new Gothic game, a much anticipated game after all these years, is definitely a difficult task. And at the moment, Piranha Bytes is not a big studio, so producing a game like that costs a lot of money, and if you want to make a decent Gothic games that fans will definitely enjoy, it needs a lot of time. So it's, it does concern the story a bit. Of course, you do want to see a good story, you do want to see Nameless Hero, you do want to have the same feeling you've had playing previous Gothic games. And I want it to be difficult. I don't want another Gothic game to be dumbed down, where everything is visible, like, that's one of the things I was like, kind of a con for me in ELEX, is that like every quest has a marker. You kind of know what's what from the start. Like he tells you like there is this guy hiding somewhere, you just mark this quest and you know exactly where this guy is hiding. Why is he hiding there and how do you know it? I have no clue. So honestly, in my opinion, like it was a bit dumbed down, like for newer standards in my opinion, but hopefully the next Gothic game is not going to have that, because previous Gothic games didn't tell you where you needed to go. You had to figure that one out. So I kind of enjoy that a lot. Now on the other hand, you have a already set game, ELEX. So they already like unfolded events that will happen in ELEX 2, and it would be a logical idea for them, when it comes to financial status and the future of the studio, to continue producing ELEX 2. It makes more sense to produce ELEX 2 right now, where you have the new audience, where people played it, you learned about all the issues that ELEX 1 had, and hopefully they are going to fix them in the next game, that we don't have to bother with that AI and those combat animations, which were okay in my opinion. They weren't anything special. Like in my opinion, Piranha Bytes always had an issue with combat, but hopefully a next ELEX game is not going to have that, and it's only going to help them, because if a next ELEX game is even a step in the right direction, like from this one, if they fix all the issues ELEX 1 had, keep the good stuff, fix the bad stuff, it's definitely going to be a big plus, because it's going to bring more attention to the studio, it's going to give them more money, and in the future, after they're done with ELEX, the chances of Gothic are definitely higher to happen, because right now, it wouldn't be logical for them to completely abandon ELEX and start working on a new Gothic game. Because of all the things I said, it's going to take them a lot more time to produce it. Now honestly, I'm all for waiting for a new Gothic game, but still, it doesn't do good for their studio, because they have to get money somehow. And ELEX did not earn them millions and millions and millions, so they can actually produce something different, which will take a lot more time to create. So for them, honestly, as a company, as a studio, it's more logical to continue making ELEX, which has more chances of appearing, rather than a new Gothic game. Because fans are going to be a lot more demanding for when it comes to a new Gothic game rather than ELEX. But still, right now, I want to see ELEX 2, I want to see like all the improvements that ELEX 2 is going to happen, and how the story is going to unfold. But also, like the poll that I did on Twitter, people definitely want a new Gothic game rather than ELEX 2, which is logical. A lot more people got familiar with their games through Gothic, so getting a new Gothic game after all this time is definitely going to bring them a lot of attention. But at the same time, if they fail that, then the future of the studio is going to be, well, not the best. So I'm probably thinking the same as them, like, okay, I would rather have ELEX 2 next, and then after that, if ELEX 2 sells well, if they say like now is the time for us to produce a new Gothic game, which is going to be up the code like the previous one, which is going to be as interesting and have the same level and, you know, gameplay design as the previous ones, of course, with a new technology, I would definitely play it. But I don't want a new Gothic game to be rushed. So to answer your question, what comes first, I would definitely say Piranha Bytes is going to release ELEX 2, and then maybe, if it sells well, if they decide they have a good story and they can actually live up to their name, they will give you a next Gothic game. So guys, that is all I have for this video. This was a very nice discussion between those two games, those two series that I love both. Honestly, I've had a lot of fun with ELEX, and I showed that in my previous videos where I played a lot of ELEX, so hopefully in the future we're definitely going to get more news, and they're definitely going to work on their technical aspects of the game, which is going to help them. So I want to see your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell me down below what you think and what you expect next to happen. This is LastKnownMeal signing out. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to visit me up on Twitter at LastKnownMeal for more info. And that's it. Stay classy, everyone, and bye bye.